my channel. Today we are doing a video all about hijinks. This is one of my favorite subjects because hijinks was so fun last year. I went for the inaugural year and I was so pleasantly surprised by how much fun I had at this festival, just because for what I look for in a festival, city festivals don't really do it for me. The crowd is sometimes kind of weird. It brings in like a bunch of people that are not really there for the festival. The lineups are normally really good, but just like the whole experience of the festival is generally like pretty iffy. So I had really low expectations going into this and I ended up having a ton of fun. Don't get me wrong, this is not a super detailed festivals with like art installations and all of that, but for an indoor city festival, it was so much fun. So if you haven't bought a ticket and you're trying to decide if you should go, I definitely recommend it. This is a great option if you're trying to do an end of year festival when festival season is no longer in full swing. If you already bought a ticket, this is my first timer's guide to hijinks. Thankfully, you don't have too much to worry about. My list of tips aren't even that long and a lot of them are positives. Without further ado, let's get right into the first tip. My first tip is to not worry too much about security. There is a list of prohibited items, but as far as bringing things in your backpack, in my experience, I had almost no security. One day they didn't even open my bag, and they might have opened my bag the second day, but didn't look very hard. Now, if you get something taken away, I don't want you to blame me, but I'm just saying my experience. Don't freak out if you've already had a piece of your gum or things like that, or if you want to bring a jewel inside or something small like that, you don't have to worry. Security was such a breeze. The next thing not to worry about is bathrooms. So when you go inside, there are porta potties all along the wall in the main room. The main room is one big warehouse space, and there are porta potties all along the side. There are so many, so there's almost no lines. The most I waited was around 5 minutes. I mentioned those bathrooms but failed to mention anything about real bathrooms. I completely forgot until someone mentioned in the comments that they actually do have real bathrooms. They have real bathrooms right as you enter as well, right past security. They also have water fountains right after you enter security, so you can refill as soon as you get past. More festivals than not have huge bathroom problems, so it was a true miracle and we're all really grateful that the bathrooms went so smoothly. My next tip is to make sure you bring money, because there are real vendors there. It's not just like a merch booth, which they also do have, but they have true vendors that you would find at a full-blown outdoor festival. I got a ring. They have things like pashminas, tapestries, other fun clothes that any other festival would have. In my experience, I could use Venmo or a card, but it also is important to make sure you bring cash just in case. My next tip, which one of my friends told me to include and someone in the comments of my last video told me to include, was to be prepared for really long lines for alcohol and food. It was to the point where it wasn't even worth it. I heard about people waiting an hour or more just to get a drink, and my friends were saying how they just saw the line and were like, I'm not even going to bother. So make sure you pregame before you go, or try to get there really early and get some drinks then. My next tip is, even though that this is a festival, be prepared that there is only one stage. I didn't really mind that there was only one stage because the lineup is so stacked that there's really no one that I'm like, oh, I'm over this, I don't want to be here at all. But there is only one stage option in this one room. The temperature when you go inside, I remember being pretty comfortable. Like when you're in the crowd, it's warm, and when you go to the back of the crowd, it's a little bit cooler. I suggest trying to get a hotel as close as possible. We were within walking distance, maybe a 15-minute walk. There just happened to be a huge warm front that weekend last year, so we got really lucky that it was like 50 or 60 degrees at night. Absolutely insane. So we just walked home and it was super easy, but be prepared that it could be really cold on your walk there and it's going to be warmer inside. Take note of where you're standing. I had pretty good experience with the sound. The bass was really loud for BASSNECTAR. I had no complaints about the noise, but if it is getting a little bit too loud, just go to the back. If you're standing right in front of the hanging speakers, then it will be really loud. If you go a little bit forward closer to stage, just past the hanging speakers, speakers, it will get a little bit quiet. So keep those hanging speakers in mind if you're not happy with the sound. Finally, you should be prepared with the app. So when you go into the festival, there are no wristbands. It's all app driven. Tickets are non-transferable, so these are your tickets and your tickets only. There's no way to sell them to anybody unless you sell off your whole account to somebody else. Make sure you're already logged in before you go, because sometimes when so many people are crowded in one area, it's hard to get service even when you're in a city. So make sure you're already logged in and have your ticketing account password all set up and the tickets pulled up. You can even screenshot the QR code. Make sure everything is all pulled up so you can show them the code right when you walk in. You'll have no problems with that because, like I said, no wristbands here. I just wanted to address a couple questions that I got in the comments on the last video, just in case anybody else has the same questions. One person wanted to know if there was an issue with smoking inside. From what I could tell, I didn't see anybody getting in trouble for smoking, but I'm always in kind of the middle of the crowd. I was never fully on the complete outskirts of the crowd, but I saw tons of people smoking jewels and vape pens and all that. Didn't see anyone get in trouble. I saw people actually smoking and I didn't see any problems. Someone else asked if there was seating, and there was no seating from what I saw. So if you are someone that likes to chill, bring a tapestry, or if you have a couch pouch, bring one of those. And there's definitely space to chill in the back where it's way quieter and you can like hear your friends talking and stuff. Last question is, am I going? And no, I'm not going this year. There's no reason I'm not going. No shade towards the festival at all. I would love to go. I'm getting horrible FOMO that I'm missing this. The lineup is so good, as you all know, and I would die to go. I actually like the lineup this year a little bit better than the lineup last year, but I've not seen my family since the day I left for Hijinx last year. So I have not seen my family now in 11 months. So I need to go home for Christmas. I'm not going to be home for actual Christmas. I will only be home for 2 days, and it is the 2 days of Hijinx, so I will not be able to go. I hope you all have so much fun for me. I know you will. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below, and if there's enough, I will do a whole Hijinx Q&A. I hope this helped you prepare for your first Hijinx, because I know there's obviously not a ton of info out there because it has only been around for 1 year. Please subscribe if you want to stick around and see my other videos. Everything is festival related. I do tips, advice, vlogs, outfits, anything and everything festival related. I'm going to New Year's Eve 360, BASSNECTAR's event held in Louisville this year. If you want to see those New Year's Eve vlogs, please subscribe and make sure you hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, all linked down below if you want to keep up with me on the daily. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!